Roblox has been the subject of heavy criticism in the last few years, mainly because of its notoriety for housing predators and failing to protect children on the platform. But it's also criticized for having quote unquote slop in its platform. And what that means is that it has really poorly made games that are just trying to steal your attention and your money. But the purpose of this podcast is ultimately to show people ways to game mindfully. That being said, the question for today is how can we approach Roblox mindfully, and how should such a huge and diverse platform be used in a healthy way? Now, if you look at Roblox's homepage, you'll find a humongous variety of games. There will be tycoons, simulators, obbies, mini games, progression games, copies of other games, and even more if you count all of the unusual genres. And these unusual genres, some can be good, but some are effectively money grabs or low effort games simply designed to grab your attention. And I want to focus on these types of games because they are very, very common. So the low effort games are these bizarre genres like, for example, the jump into games. These games are almost always the same. You jump over higher and higher steps until you either quit, wait long enough to get a jump boost, or you just pay for it. That's literally it. There's no other components. Or you have these steal games. You steal a SpongeBob, steal a Brain Rot or something like that. These games involve taking something that generates money, putting it in your base or home or store or whatever, and then it generates money for you and you get money. Then you use that money to buy more money making things so that you make more money. That's really the extent of it from what I've seen. I mean, I've never played one for that long, but it really doesn't feel like there's anything else to the game. If you've ever played Adventure Capitalist, that's what this is, but almost worse in a way. These types of games don't even feel creative. It doesn't feel like the creator even wanted to make something new, because this idea has just been recycled over and over, and all they do is just change the theme of it, but the actual game never changes. They just feel like either money grabs or just flat out time sinkers. And I'm not one to usually say that video games are a waste of time, but for these, there's really no fun to even be had in these games. And in my opinion, these games are not worth your time and are really not mindful games at all. But even amongst the weird and more normal genres, many Roblox games in general are just filled with advertisements and cash grabs. Hop into any Roblox game on the homepage, and you're almost guaranteed to be blasted with daily rewards, loot boxes, options to buy things to level up, battle passes, game passes, buffs that only work in this one game, outfit changes, and wheel spins. If you've seen my episode on loot boxes, you'll know that these in-game cash grabs are very addicting and can be very problematic, especially for little kids and those who are more susceptible to these things. It's one thing for OnePixel as an adult with his own salary to buy CSGO crates, but it's another for kids who aren't even sure what they're getting into to buy what are effectively gambling gimmicks. And to make things worse, not only do these cash grabs give you a personal boost in the game, they also make the game worse for others. In some games I looked at, where the goal is to be the biggest or strongest, those who pay Robux get buffs which will beat out all the competition. This is similar to Clash Royale, but it happens on a much worse scale. The games want you to buy the buffs more than anything else, more than even your own enjoyment, which means they will make it as obvious as possible that you will win if you pay. And let's look at obby games, for example, to see an example of this. These are, what you call parkour games. Obby just means parkour, I think. But these games are designed so that they provide some challenging parkour for you to complete at, whatever pace you please. But what you can buy in these games are essentially cheats. You can often buy, for example, a magic carpet that lets you fly. Now you may be wondering, well, what is the point of flying if the point of the game is parkour? Well, I wonder that same thing, which makes me think these games are unethically targeting younger children who maybe don't realize that the carpet ruins the sole purpose of the game. And there's plenty of other items like these. And some of these items, including the carpet, allow you to, push other people off and intentionally ruin the experience for others. The games do not care whether free-to-play users have fun or not, as long as those who pay are incentivized to pay for a better experience. Some games even have a feature where you can eliminate all players and make them start over in obbies and in these climb the ladder games. And of course, this costs money, but just think about what this really means. You can literally spend money to ruin other people's experiences at no harm or benefit to yourself. And these types of features are negative, and I would argue they don't offer any benefit to the game or even to the person who pays. I mean, what enjoyment do you get by eliminating all the other players? And you have to spend money to do so? To me, there really is no purpose in that. And I wish it stopped there, but it doesn't even stop there. There was one game I found, and I think it was called Please Donate or something like that. And what it does is it allows people to set up stands and ask for donations of Robux. That's it. The sole purpose of the game is for people to give other people money. And at that point, can you even call it a game? To me, it sounds like the most obvious form of a cash grab. People stand by their stands and they type in chat, please donate, please give me Robux. Please, my brother's birthday is tomorrow and he needs Robux. And the game offers no real experience. People just donate their Robux and the game takes a small portion of that to make money. And to me, all this does is show people that they can ask others for money, and sometimes they give it, but usually they won't. And perhaps in some cases, people realize that, oh, you can tell people that you need money, but you don't actually need it, and they'll still give it to you because they feel bad. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was a very common issue in games like these. And now, after browsing this modern Roblox for a few hours, and after having played it for years on my own, and with friends, and after taking some time to really see the interior of these games that are being put out, I can say that much of Roblox has become like this, and it is quite sad. There is still a whole side of this game I have yet to uncover, like the dating games and the social games, and I can only imagine how those games are given the initial impression of Roblox. But from what I've seen, Roblox has become a huge cash grab and a huge attention grab, and many games offer, in my view, nothing at all. But of course, nothing in gaming is black and white. There are good games in Roblox, and given that Roblox is essentially just a platform for creators to make their own games, there are bound to be good games. And yes, Roblox used to have and still has very well designed and creative games. Games like Jailbreak and Phantom Forces were fan favorites, and some of my favorites and my friends. These games had many components to them. They were made with good effort, and were consistently updated to add more relevant content for its users. Sure, some in-game purchases were available, but they were by no means necessary and they didn't ruin the experience for anyone else. And they also weren't put all over the screen to grab your attention in fancy rainbow colors. Most purchases in the end were largely cosmetic, and you would only find them if you were looking for new cosmetics to buy. A personal favorite of mine is Bee Swarm Simulator, and while it serves no real purpose as a game other than entertainment, it had a very good progression that wasn't super easily bypassed with Robux. It was well designed, and the creator cared about the fans' enjoyment, not their wallets, which was evident through the updates he added to the game. The same thing goes for another game I played called Lumber Tycoon. This was a long time ago, I'm not sure how the game is now, but the game had depth and it offered a genuinely fun experience to play with my friends. And these are the types of games you should go after. These games have stories, they have purposes, and they offer a chance to be unique and skillful. Other good games nowadays include the short story horror games. Some of these have actually well-written stories and can actually be a fun experience with friends. The shawarma games, where you open a shawarma stand at night, are sometimes actually very well designed, and you almost forget that you're even playing Roblox because they are designed so well and because they put so much effort into the game. These horror games also usually don't have in-game purchases and are not usually covered in advertisements. Once the game ends, and there's no need to spend money. Short story horror games are my personal favorite in modern Roblox. I hop on with some friends, have a good laugh, and then move on. But in general, I feel like I've largely drifted away from Roblox, since I don't really believe it offers a great experience anymore. Other games I've suggested on my channel and on my TikTok that I think are better are games like Terraria, Risk of Rain, Bloons Tower Defense, Golf with Your Friends, things like these. I think these offer a much more fun experience and a much more collaborative experience with your friends, help build friendship, and then help you have a good time. So my 2 cents on Roblox is please ignore the cash grab mechanics and please don't fall into these low effort, poorly made games that are just easily ruined by someone else spending money. If you're looking for new games to play, check out some of the short story horror games or look elsewhere like my TikTok page for new game suggestions. I'll try to keep posting new games that I think everyone can enjoy, and then hopefully people can explore new games and then find new ones. And if you find a new one that you think would be good, just still feel free to let me know. And as always, stay mindful, and I'll see you all in the next episode.